Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts because I'm taking you on one hell of a ride. If you're even remotely an automotive enthusiast, then you're going to be grinning just like me after you see this. It is an enviable garage. When I walked in, I thought it was Wonderland. Let me show you. From Beetles to Bentleys, from European beauties to American classics and even purpose-built concept cars. We're going to get to see it all. This is a garage that has been built with love and passion. You can see how well maintained all these cars are. This is the garage of none other than Viveck Goenka, and he's going to show us around. Thank you, Mr. Goenka, so much for sharing this wonderful garage with us. I mean, this is pure love and passion. We can see it all over. But where did that begin? What was that first moment where that love for cars happened?
Well, it happened when I was obviously a very young kid. I was the only child in my house, so I had nothing to do with myself. And then we used to have mechanics who used to come in moonlight. And in those days, cars were done at home. So I used to hang around the mechanics who had nothing else to do. And that's when I started falling in love with the automobile, with the engineering and all that. And started working on cars when I was 8 years old. I used to drive by myself to school when I was 8 years old.
Lovely.
So it started that way and it continued.
And which was the car you drove to school?
My Fiat, this very Fiat,
Oh.
which I have saved and preserved.
So you've owned this Fiat since then?
Absolutely.
And she still looks spanking new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
It's a very sentimental car for me.
And you still drive this car?
I still drive this car.
Oh. So you learnt driving on this Fiat?
Yes.
So we have a lot.
Well, I wasn't taught. I just did it by myself.
So you have some really special cars here, and we'll just walk through and take a look at some of them. And you can tell us, you know, the little stories behind these cars, what drew you to get them, acquire them. I mean, the E-types, there is no reason to acquire these. It's just pure love when you see them. You know, I think cars were meant to be designed like this.
Okay, this EType Sedan is the first V12 that came into India.
Wow. Okay.
Mr. Batyena had got it from California, I believe. He's a very famous gentleman in Pune.
Yeah.
So I saw this car advertised in Auto India in those days. So I said, I've got to have it. And the ad came and I was probably the first one who called him. So, and then of course,
and then you had the convertible.
Then I found the convertible much later.
So this is a super special car, the Citroen DS. And there's lots of nice quirks about it, but I'm going to leave it to you to tell our viewers.
Well, you can keep talking about the Citroen DS. This is one of my favorites. There are a few in the country, but this is probably the only runner.
Okay.
And it is not easy to restore this to get it to run, trust me. The hydraulics are fairly complex.
These were the cars that were purpose-built for ride quality.
Absolutely.
So that suspension and hydraulics at that time were complex. Yeah?
So you know what the brief was when they made the 2CV and these Citroens? They said, no, the car has to go on a paddy field and a glass of water shouldn't fall. For the Citroen DS, the egg should not break for the farmer. You know, these stories were the design brief given to the engineers who designed this.
Yeah.
And it's got 3 levels, the lowest level, middle level and high level.
So ride height adjust even then. Yeah.
But trust me, you go over a speed breaker, you don't feel a damn thing inside. One day I'm going to demonstrate something on this car, which will be unusual to Indians. It can run on 3 wheels.
Oh, we are there for the demonstration. Yeah. You can take off one wheel.
You can take off any one of the rear wheels.
Yeah.
The car is absolutely stable. very difficult to choose between them. Of course, the E-Type, my first Fiat, these are very sentimental cars. The Bentley, very sentimental car. But apart from that, I'm actually a genuine lover of the automobile.
Yeah.
So you will find all kinds of cars over here. The
Absolutely.
cheapest Fiats, I have 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah.
Out of the 20 restored ones.
Wow.
So, that's my passion as well. 20,000 rupee cars right up to cars that go into crores. This car is probably one of the rarest cars in our collection. As they call the Holy Grail, it's a split window Beetle.
Okay.
I mean, there are 2 or 3 guys in India who claim they have it, but they refuse to show it to anyone.
Okay.
So we don't know if it's there or not.
Wow.
We believe them, but this is the only car that's been up and running. I found it with an old priest in Goa. It was abandoned, and my maid found it for me, strangely.
Wow.
Because everybody's been searching for this car. I mean, not this particular car, but a split Beetle. This is a Thunderbird GT Hawk, Gran Turismo Hawk. In design terms and in Studebaker's history terms, it's a very special car because some of the design elements are very unique in this car. Left-hand drive, V8 automatic. But what is special about this car is it's an ex-Saddam Hussein car.
Wow.
So this is another thing I learned over the years, that if you have a car which is very original, they call it a car of under the preservation class. Everything is original and it's been mothballed. So what we do is we spray some lacquer over it to prevent it from further deteriorating and preserving it in the condition we find it. This Mustang has a very interesting filmy history. It's done a lot of movies. It obviously belonged to somebody who let it out for movies or who was probably connected with the film industry. But the most famous movie it did was Mr. Bachchan driving it and Zeenat Aman by his side in the movie Dawn.
Car from Dawn is right here. Have you ever had the Dawn moment in this car?
Not really. Not really, but this is a beautiful driver.
I know. I just need to show our viewers cool stuff like this. I mean, we don't get to see this in cars today. Just, the way the bonnet latch is open, and then of course you raise the bonnet. But this is what the joy about these cars really is. How often do you take all your cars out?
See, obviously I can't drive them all.
Yeah.
So I have a Parsi gentleman who's hired only to drive 6 cars a day. He and a mechanic go and 6 cars a day are taken out in rotation.
Amazing. But how often do you get to drive?
I get almost every Sunday.
Yeah, lovely. And then you rotate them?
Of course we rotate.
Are there favorites that you pick?
Very difficult to say this is a favorite and that's a favorite. We just take all of them in rotation, basically.
You like the Land Rovers as well,
Land
right?
Rovers is my, it's a bug like the Beetle bug.
Yeah.
The Land Rover bug also bites you once you get into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a large collection of 4x4s, as you probably know.
Yeah.
Almost 50 of them.
Amazing.
Out of that, 25 are Range Rovers, Land Rovers. Then the whole range I have. But these are special because this is my wildlife collection, which I built for myself. So I have a fleet of cars that I use for wildlife.
Okay.
I'm a conservationist, not a hunter.
Jungle cars, yeah.
Jungle cars.
Yeah.
Fully restored to a level, all are petrol, because we don't take diesels in the jungle, at least I don't.
Correct.
Can go underwater. Yeah. There's a snorkel and an exhaust, which are both way above
water level,
standing height.
Yeah. How long is this car? It's like, I think 3 of me can lie down and I still won't have covered the length of this car.
Well, This car is 21.5 feet long.
Wow.
Doesn't fit in most recoveries. The covered recoveries, we find it difficult to find one.
It's very hard to find garages for this.
We are building a recovery to take this in. I'm, to say very humbly, I'm a very proud owner of this car. There were only 45 of them made. The first of the Imperials made by Chrysler, and it was designed by this gentleman who was the head of Ghia in those days. Later on, Ghia built bodies, but this was Ghia designed and built by Chrysler. Very special car, very unusual car, and most people in the world are unable to restore it for want of parts. Whereas we don't care because we manufacture the parts.
So this car was just a concept, and they actually created a real live version of it.
A small correction, it was a concept, but it was offered by Fleetwood as an option in 16, 12 and 8 cylinders.
Okay.
So we found a 12-cylinder chassis and we built it on that.
Wow. So all the body work has been created.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The front end was there, but we modified quite a bit of it.
Okay.
The entire body from the firewall onwards has been created. You know, most people who don't know, they say that, look, I want a vintage car. So a car that looks vintage, they buy. And then gradually, as they mix around with more collectors, they start learning that, you know, okay, this is not right, it should have been this way. And this wasn't right, that should have been this way and that way. And so gradually, you know, they start working on their cars. You know, the bug bites them very fast.
Yeah.
And
but
then, you know.
You need that level of finesse. You need that detail. You know, you need to go down. I think, like you said, you have to have that OCD.
Yeah, and for people who don't mind spending a little bit of money today, good restoration facilities are available in India. Bombay, though, we have quite a few of them now.
Yeah. It's been a fascinating journey for me, and I'm sure you guys have enjoyed watching this. Some awesome cars, but Mr. Goenka, we're not letting you go so easy. We're going to be back. We're going to be driving with you. We're going to take you up on that promise to drive that Citroen on 3 wheels at some point of time.
We'll do that.
And we'll be doing some special stories with your cars at various times. But thank you so much for showing and sharing this garage with us.
Thank you very much for spending some time over here. I'm sure that, you know, what you're going to put out will encourage more vintage enthusiasts to get into it after seeing the collection.
And if you want the chrome work, you know where to come.